Now, I will work out G parameter for a couple of example circuits. So, this is my 2 port, and to measure G parameters I need 2 conditions with some independent source set to 0. Now, as usual, I would encourage you to work out the parameters yourselves and compare it to the answer I give rather than simply looking at what I do. Okay. So, in one case I open circuit port 2, and in the other case I short circuit port 1. Okay. And in the first case I apply a voltage V1 and measure I1 and also V2. Okay. Now, it is clear that this series combination of two 1 kilo ohm resistors is across V1. So, I1 is V1 divided by 2 kilo ohms, which equals 0.5 millisiemens times V1. Similarly, V2, it is the result of voltage division between these two resistors. So, we get 1 kilo ohm by 2 kilo ohm times V1, or simply half of V1. Okay. So, you see that this is G11, this is G21. Okay. And similarly, for the other two parameters, I apply a current I2 to port 2 and measure V2 and I1. Now, this current I2 divides into two equal parts because the two resistors are equal, and we will have a current I2 by 2 that way and I2 by 2 through this resistor. This I1 is the same as the current through this resistor, but in the opposite direction. So, I1 is minus I2 by 2 or minus 0.5 times I1, and finally, the parallel combination of these two 1 kilo ohm resistors appears across I2. So, V2 is the parallel combination of two 1 kilo ohm resistors, which is half kilo ohm times I2. Okay. So, this is G12 and this is G22. So, the G parameter matrix for this particular circuit is half a millisiemens, half, minus half and half a kilo ohm. Okay. Quite simple. Now, let me take the other circuit I have been taking all along with the control source. So, I have 1 kilo ohm, 1 kilo ohm and a 2 millisiemens times Vx, where Vx is here, that control source. This is my port 1 and port 2. So, as usual, I have two port conditions for the two port parameter measurements. In one case, I open circuit port 2 and apply V1. I measure V2 and I1. In the other case, I have port 1 shorted, I apply I2 and I measure V2 and I1. Okay. And from these I will get all four parameters. So G11 I get from this, it is I1 by V1 with I2 equal to 0. G21 also I get from this, which is V2 by V1 with I2 equal to 0. Similarly, G12 I get from the second setup, which is I1 by I2 with port 1 shorted, and similarly G22 is V2 by I2 with port 1 shorted. Okay. I won't show the working out of these parameters in detail. Please pause the video at this point and evaluate all of these things and compare it to the answers that I will give. Okay. So for this circuit, this turns out to be 3 by 2 millisiemens, and this is minus half, and half a kilo ohm. Okay. So these are the G parameters of this circuit. Please calculate this by yourself, as I said, from scratch, and also verify that this is the inverse of the H matrix you calculated earlier. Okay.